The Inside Edge Network is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and athletes to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We're talking NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, National Hockey League, the NCAA. I'm a wrestling guy as well. We got WWE apparel available too. It allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. It's right there in the corner of your screen. Get your official gear. Level up with us at fanatics.com.
Yeah, welcome to the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Let's do our normal formalities here. We got Anthony Alford, we got Eli Moon, I am Rob Rozycki. We're going to talk NFL draft. We're going to talk about a lot of other things happening around in this wide world of sports. But gentlemen, I have to start this all out basically where the entire day was kind of focused for Cleveland. What the fuck happened to the Cavs?
Well, we broke our rule of not swearing on this show, so we're off to a good start. Now, all
You
kidding
have a rule
aside,
about not swearing on the show?
No, that's not my rule. Nope.
no rules. No
Say,
rules.
dude.
Look, no rules here. No rules.
Years.
No rules, and also no offense. No offense here for the Cavaliers today, fellas. When it mattered most, it was pretty ugly. It looked like your local YMCA game on offense. Pretty poor shooting. Both teams finishing below 40% from the field. So ultimately, just not good. And I guess my overall thoughts, fellas, is really two things. Donovan Mitchell has looked very lost, both sides of the court, offense, defense, when we've needed him most. And the other concerning thing, and we talked about it on Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell this past Friday, about James Harden. I said I won't freak out. It was one game where James Harden disappeared. I'm not going to freak out, not going to have a worry. But if he does it again, then we're going to have a concern. And yes, he shot all right from the floor, 6 of 14. He had 19 points, but fellas, just not good enough. Not enough shots. The turnovers were there, but I'm okay. Here's the thing. I'm okay with the turnovers, AA. If he shoots 6 to 7 more shots, the way he was shooting, it maybe gives you an extra 8 to 10 points, and you probably win the basketball game. Instead, we're talking about a 93-89 loss because of the two stars in the backcourt. And we can get to the big men. We can definitely talk about Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. But at this point, it's like, it's almost expected out of these guys. This is what they do in the playoffs. They underproduce. It's so disappointing. I think the bigger story is if one of those guys, Harden or Mitchell, got going, we at least beat the Raptors. But I'm not feeling as great as I did a week ago.
The core four is trash right now. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I'll go to box score route for a hot second. Donovan Mitchell, he had 20 points. He was 6 of 24. 4 of 12 from downtown. James Harden, 19 points, 6 of 14. He had more turnovers than field goal makes or field goal attempts. Evan Mobley, 8 points. He had horrible turnovers, lazy passes. And Jared Allen only made 1 basket. This team, and I dropped whatever. This team is trash right now. Yeah. And we have talked about, and Rob and I talked about during our pre-show, you typically when you go on the road, it's the role players that struggle on the road. And you depend on your superstars to carry you through. That's when you need more of Donovan Mitchell. You need more of James Harden. You need more of everyone. And the core 4 were soft, physically and mentally. And as far as making smart plays, lazy passes. They look like they never played basketball on the road before. And Donovan Mitchell, a critical 8-second violation when the game is on the line. So you got guys, Rob, that were just not to me, I hate to say this. I'll say it right now. They're not going to win this series. They're not winning this series because I don't trust, A, that they could win in Toronto. And then, B, when the pressure's on the line, they have never proven that they can handle business. And now they're getting dominated in the paint, too. So, yeah.
They've made this a best of 3 series now, in essence. They always say that the series hasn't started until a road team wins. I guess the series has not started yet. They were sitting here just a few days ago in a very nice spot, being up 2-0, being one of the few teams that were actually at home who were up 2-0 to start these playoffs out. And now Toronto's gotten back into it. They are now completely and utterly, the momentum is on their side at this rate. They're going to go to Rocket Arena. I believe Game 5 is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday time. TBA streamer. I don't know if Tubi's going to have it at this rate. More on that later. I'm sure we'll get into the streaming problems that the fans have been dealing with. But yeah, I mean, when they actually get those streamers on and up and running, the last 2 games have been absolute garbage. And Donovan Mitchell might now he has been playing, like the last 2 games anyway, the highest paid role player in the league. Now, Donovan, I would tell you that. I think he was very candid with with the media when he was done and, when he was doing his post-game speech. I mean, he knows he's playing like shit. The team knows they're playing like shit. It's just, again, we've seen this team now 2-3 years in a row where they know they're playing like, crap. They know what it looks like when they're playing well. They just can't do it. And, Jared Allen's healthy. Darius Garland and his frail bag of bones, he's in Los Angeles. Like, the team is fully healthy and ready to go. We cannot have those problems. We don't have those problems that we were leaning on the last couple of years. There are literally no excuses. And this team that has been through the rigors of 2 playoff exits together, they should show a little bit more fortitude than this. Double A, I'm not with you on the pessimism with the series in general. I still think they can win this series. I still think it's probably going to happen. But what these last couple games have shown me is that, all right, if you got to play, you want to play Boston, you want to play the Knicks, maybe the Hawks, whoever comes out of that one, Detroit, even right now, I know they're having their own issues, or what is it, Orlando? Like, is there going to be any other team that you can get away with this stuff on? Or is this going to be, hey, we get by the skin of our teeth in this series, and then our customary gentleman sweep in the second round of the playoffs? That's what the team I saw the last 2 days was. So I think they can still win this series, but anybody but Toronto, they can't get away with this crap.
Yeah, I mean, it's about soul searching, because it really doesn't matter at the end of the day if they can or can't get past Toronto. Because if they can't get past Toronto, then there's no need for us to be having discussions about the Cavaliers being in the top 4, top 3, whatever, the Eastern Conference. We've given them benefit of the doubt here in Cleveland, and national media continues to give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to they're one of the top teams in the East the last 2-3 years. But the Cavaliers continue to get in their own way. front court problems, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen just getting bullied. And the Toronto Raptors are not a very strong front court team. They don't have a ton of depth in that front court. I know Scotty Barnes is very good, but there is no reason he should be bullying Evan Mobley and Jared Allen in the paint. It's quite embarrassing, to be honest. And when they go to the bench, there's really no matchup. And I'll tell you this, the Cavaliers are definitely missing Thomas Bryant. A lot of people aren't going to talk about that, but in my opinion, he would add some very valuable minutes and some toughness on this front court because he did it for Indiana. He bullied the Cavaliers front court last year. So I think that would have been very valuable, and we'll see if he's able to get back for this series. But Rob W, it doesn't matter if they beat, we shouldn't even be having this discussion because the whole thought was this is a momentum-building series. You'll win it in 5. Some people were even saying a sweep. And then you move on and you get ready. But they don't match up well with a lot of these teams, at least right now, the way they've played. The toughness, you watch Boston right now against Philadelphia earlier today, right before we went on the air. They play with such a physicality and just swarming defense. Same thing with New York. Detroit, they're going to bully the Cavaliers if they don't correct it. And Toronto really doesn't, they're more of a finesse team, AA. They're not a tough team. And that's not to discredit them, but they're not the guys that are going to bully you out of the gym. They're really winning just by outworking the Cavaliers, just out-hustling them. We talk about it all year. The effort, multiple plays where the guys aren't getting back on defense or whatever. And let's not even talk about the end of the game where you have 12 seconds left to still move the ball around, at least get some quality shot. And Donovan Mitchell's leaning into the shot like I would in 2K to try to draw a three-point foul, dives out of bounds, almost gets injured. It was just a complete mess, a complete shit show to end the game. It was embarrassing. I'm at my niece's birthday party. I'm trying to enjoy myself. I had a great time. I had some food. It was an enjoyable time. And then I'm watching this on Hulu on my phone, and I had to go break the news to everybody else right before we open gifts that the Cavaliers blew a 5-point lead with 2.5 minutes left. It's embarrassing, fellas. I don't even know why we're having this discussion, but here we are.
Well, one of the reasons, real quick, and just to your Thomas Bryant point, I got stuck on this one here because I remember saying actually in the first couple games of the series, hey, Thomas Bryant's our injured player. Emmanuel Quickly is their injured player. I'll take that trade any day of the week. And I understand that Thomas Bryant, I completely agree with you. He'd make things easier for the Cavs right now, but they are not one Thomas Bryant away. That was what we were that I think is the problem right now is that, these 4 guys, all they have to do is, the core 4 look in the mirror. That's why you lost. And it was a failure on pretty much every level. And I don't understand why this team, who has not ever really looked like this consistently, has now looked like this for basically 2 straight games.
I think Eli answered the question. I think Eli answered your question, Rob. If Toronto is considered a finesse team and they're bullying us, then what are we?
Right.
What are we, in the paint?
Baby back, bitches.
And here's the thing, Double A.
Go Chili's. Sorry.
And not to take the baton here for a second, but I gotta emphasize the point that I get it. Thomas Bryant's not gonna come out and give you 15 points and 13 boards. I know he's not gonna necessarily light up the stat board, Rob, but the Cavaliers, the main constant, because here's the thing with Donovan Mitchell. This is very rare. That's why we're having a discussion leading the show off with Donovan Mitchell looking lost the last few games. It's not something that happens very often. But one constant is the front court has been very soft in the playoffs. Jared Allen has admitted the lights have been too bright before. Evan Mobley, just another pitiful performance. Same with Jared Allen. 3 points. I get the 15 boards, but I'd rather convert some of those boards into some points. Just embarrassing. And I think Thomas Bryant would at least bring some toughness. They need to do something because Detroit's going to bully you out of the gym.
But the problem is we're turning to the role players, and I understand the impact, but your core 4 flat out did not show up in these 2 games. They didn't show up. Sam Merrill was the only one really who made a shot down the stretch in the 4th quarter. So if you got these guys not contributing really at all, and it's just lazy passes, and guys are faster. That's the other thing, Rob and Eli. Toronto, in every step of the way, looks faster than the Cavaliers.
They look more experienced. They look what the hell's going on?
Yes.
And Toronto's not exactly I know, that like their home court advantage is great, and I'm not trying to disparage them, but it's not exactly the most hostile, environment to be playing in the NBA. I don't get what this. I don't. What is their malfunction? I don't understand this, and I mean, we'll get. You know what? We'll take a quick timeout. We'll hear from Donovan coming back, and then the other thing I do kind of want to get into coming in that break is if double A scenario is correct, if doomsday does happen, if the Cavaliers either lose in 6 or 7 and we convene here in a week, and the Cavaliers are no longer in the playoffs, what has to happen to this team? What has to happen with the roster, the coaching staff, I everything, because I would think that you have to reevaluate everything down to the uniform choice. But yeah, we'll get into that. We'll hear from Donovan. But still, the Cavaliers just in an absolute quagmire right now. We're going to keep going with that at the top of the show. They go down 93-89, game 4 in Toronto, series tied 2-2. The situation that I don't think any Cavs fan really wanted to be in now. But yeah, game 4 is going to be Wednesday. We'll talk a little bit about that too. But yeah, this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got Anthony Alford. We have Eli Moon. I'm Rob Rozycki. We're going to go grab a couple of aspirin. We'll be right back with you shortly with just a word from our sponsors. We'll be back. Welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got AA Anthony Alford. We got DJ Eli Moon. I swear to God, it looks like he's just sitting there with that going on right now. We are trying to get through with a little humor what is going on in Toronto or what happened in Toronto. Obviously, the Cavaliers did not look good in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference playoffs. They go down 93-89. We have some audio from Donovan Mitchell. We have some other things to talk about. Do you want to hear what our superstar, at least right now in name only, the last couple of games, had to say first, or do you want to get into the nitty-gritty of this bullshit before that?
Dang. Let's hear from Don.
Yeah, let's hear from Don.
Okay.
The games 3 and 4, like you had some tough night shooting. How much of that is the ball not going in, and how much?
Yeah, I mean, I got some open looks tonight, and they just didn't fall. Same ones I've hit games 1 and 2, right? So can't rely on makes and misses to dictate everything else. And like I said, our defense was huge, trying to get on the boards, trying to make the right play. Do I wish I made more shots for sure, but didn't really feel like I forced a bunch, maybe a few. Obviously, you always have a few you want to take back, but as a whole, just understanding, hey, sometimes the shot's not going to go, but what is everything else like? And that's kind of where my focus is. Obviously, I watched the film, and maybe my answer might change when you watch the plays over again. But initially, there were some open looks that just missed, open floaters, like what I'm saying, it happens. But we were still in a position to win, and we didn't, and they protected home court. Now we got to do the same thing.
What do you have to say to that? I mean, I understand, I do give him the fact that he does not really throw it to anybody else. He takes responsibility for the bad game, but nonetheless, I mean, he's right. I mean, the just decision-making seemed off. Eli brought it up before with some of the lazy passes and dumb turnovers, the 8-second violation. There were a couple times even Tim Alcorn, friend of the network, was bringing it up on the radio broadcast that, Mitchell was taking, deep threes as opposed to maybe slashing and trying to go for a layup or trying to get in for a dunk. The decision-making just seemed off with the entire team. I think we thought that maybe, the guys would have a positive effect on James Harden, but it seemed like James Harden is having the negative effect on everybody else. They're all now playing like Harden in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's very lackadaisical feeling, these post-game pressers. From Donovan Mitchell, we just heard there. James Harden kind of the same thing. They didn't do anything crazy. We just missed opportunities. Yeah, we know, Mr. Harden. We know. And then Kenny Atkinson, the head coach of the Cavaliers, talking as well about, this is how a 4-5 series is supposed to go. You're 2-2, and, it's not a series to the away team wins. I just don't know what we're doing here. We've lost a plot. We truly have lost a plot. We have gone from wondering if we can beat Boston and New York and throw Detroit in there, because give them respect, they're the 1 seed for a reason. And we're now just debating if we can beat Toronto. We have truly lost a plot. Truly, I don't understand where we go from here. AA, I hope you're not right. I hope you're not right about the Cavaliers losing this series, because if they do, I mean, Evan Mobley's on the hot seat, Jared Allen's on the hot seat. A lot of guys are on the hot seat. I think the only one that would probably be all right, and I think this is where maybe we differ, is Kenny Atkinson, because you can, as a coach, you can only coach him up so much. As you mentioned, even in the first segment there, the star players do have to step up. Kenny Atkinson can only ask you to be a dog so much, and you just got to go out and be a dog. And James Harden, 14 shots. We brought you in to be an offensive spark. You didn't shoot enough. And Donovan Mitchell, like we've mentioned, he just looked lost the last 2 games.
Well, a couple. Go ahead, Rob.
Kenny's edification. I just have a real quick thing. The other 4 or 5 series in the West, do you know what that's sitting at right now?
The 4 or 5 series. Oh, yeah, 3-0.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 3-0.
The Lakers and Rockets.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Continue.
Real quick to Donovan's point, and I think this is huge. And I want to give credit to our own Autumn Chisholm. She actually brought this up on the post game. I never even thought about this, but she's spot on. When Donovan struggles in big games, and this has happened for the last 3 or 4 years, when he struggles, he shuts down in terms of creating other offensive opportunities for his teammates.
Yeah.
And I think she's 100% right with that. I'm like, wow, because he's trying to do more. He's trying to overcompensate for the lack of successful shooting. And we saw that down the stretch in this game. We saw that in game 3. So I think with Donovan Mitchell, when he is not successful from the field in big games, that's why you see the 8-second violation near the end of the game. That's why you see that final stretch where I don't know what offense we were running down the final stretch where he went out of bounds and all that stuff in the stands. He is trying to he doesn't create other opportunities. So from Donovan Mitchell in particular, that's an issue. And then real quick with James Harden, James Harden being here has been successful because he's been able to feed the ball to Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. When Jared Allen only has 1 basket and Evan Mobley only has 8 points, we have not asked James Harden to be old school James Harden. But now that our bigs are struggling, we have to have old school James Harden, and old school James Harden, Rob, struggles in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said last week at some point, the one number that I was very concerned about with Harden more than anything wasn't field goal percentage, wasn't attempts, wasn't anything really that had to do with points himself or even assists. It was the turnover number, and yeah, we're seeing. Maybe, I thought that maybe 2 kindred spirits here that, the Cavaliers that don't really, function well in the playoffs with James Harden, who knows that he doesn't have a whole lot of more, chances to really go into the playoffs and do it. I thought they might have been 2 kindred spirits that, could have benefited from each other. But yeah, I mean, no facilitation at all. I mean, Harden had 8 assists. Mitchell had 3. Allen had 5 attempts. I mean, I understand he's not the focal point of your offense, but when this team is playing well, he's normally in that 8 to 10 area instead of 4 or 5. They had to get him going more. I don't understand again why this happens in the playoffs, but yeah, it just seemed like I heard somebody in Hollywood said back in the day that pointing a camera at somebody makes them 30 IQ points dumber. And I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, going into the playoffs makes all of these guys' basketball IQs go down 30 points. And, and that's what I think that's why the issue that we're having right now, why we're so pissed off as it is because this isn't a talent thing. Jared Allen is a monster. Evan Mobley, he is a number 3 on any good, quality NBA championship caliber team. Mitchell and Harden are 2 of the best scorers in the NBA, and they got some bench pieces that can really fill that out. This is not a talent problem. This is right between the ears. This is IQ. This is dealing with pressure. This is thinking clearly. This is tightening up in a big moment. And I don't know what to do if this team were to lose this first round or even the second. I mean, we can talk about losing the first round, but if this team loses right now, I mean, everything's on the table, literally. I don't, from Mitchell to Harden to, down to everybody to Jalen Tyson at all. I mean, what Tristan Enaruna might be, who knows at this point. Because I don't know how you fix a team that has this particular problem. You can either call it, lack of poise in a big moment. You can call it, lack of, courage. You can call it anything you want. But whenever the playoff lights get bright, they get 30 IQ points dumber. And I don't know why, and I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, and we're basically giving Scotty Barnes a catapult into becoming a superstar in the NBA. He's rookie of the year. Yeah, and Scotty Barnes, rookie of the year, multiple time, I believe, All-Star, at least, he's been to the All-Star game at least once, if not multiple times. But the point stands that he is having a series against the Cavaliers. 23 points again today, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. He is just having a great series, and his coach, the Toronto Raptors, spoke. Darko had spoke. His last name, I'm not botching it here on air, but Darko had spoke about.
I think there was a in there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So Darko, my guy, not our guy, but Darko, their guy in Toronto. He spoke about how Scotty Barnes is basically at 60% of the player he will be in 2 to 3 years. That he'll be a face of the league really very soon. And the Cavaliers are doing a great job of just being the catapult, allowing Scotty Barnes to just go off against them. Luckily, it's not on ESPN or anything. We've talked about where it's on like 18 different subscribers or streaming services. So at least we're not getting embarrassed on national TV all the time. But it's just sad that Scotty Barnes is going to have his moment when this could be a moment for Donovan Mitchell, for James Harden, for Evan Mobley. Instead, it's going to be Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett in their moment.
So are you saying that the Cavaliers are the Brooklyn Brawler in the ring, ready for Andre the Giant to come down and just get their asses handed to him to make Andre look good and scary for the actual opponent he'll be facing at the end of the week?
Yeah, I mean, the way it's going, AA. Go ahead, AA.
I wouldn't call them jobbers. I mean, they're the upper mid card. That's
okay. Like, enhancement talent.
Yeah, something like that. Like, Cole Main. Right, Cole main event, right before, like, can never get to the main event, but they're Cole main. There's somebody you can open the show with, somebody who can, United States Championship. We want to use a wrestling term. I think the Cavs have a similar problem that the Guardians have. Not in this way. In this way, if they were to bring this team back, this team has shown that they're good enough to sell tickets, win games in the regular season. So when you're talking about, okay, what are you going to do, to keep fans engaged and entertained, they're going to win in the regular season. But if you run this team back, you just know, I think we have enough of a sample size, especially if this falls apart, to know this team's not good enough to compete for a title.
Well, breaking it, what you're saying is breaking it apart would be a risk. You're not the Wizards trying to build from nothing. Mm-hmm. So if you are going to do a new reincarnate, think about when Boston traded Marcus Smart. Everybody thought that was, that was a big deal when it happened. He faded, just washed back into the ether. The Celtics, obviously, they've been doing what they've been doing. But yeah, that would be a risk to do it. But at this rate, as a Cavs fan, for 2 solid years, I have been hearing the national dialogue about our team. Oh, they're not a real team. They're a paper tiger. They fold up in the playoffs. They're not a real title contender. And the angriest thing about hearing all of that the last 24 months is that they have been dead on correct. And there's nothing I can say to refute that. There's no stat. There's no moment. There's no player specifically. There's no but. In fact, the but that we had the last 2 years, everybody dragging legs and body parts into the playoffs, we don't have now. This is completely healthy. Yes, Thomas Bryant is hurt. But again, if Thomas Bryant is the make or break deal with beating the friggin' Raptors in the first round, then what are you doing in the second and third round if you make it to the third round? So yes, the Cavaliers would need to do something. I don't know if it's wholesale changes. I don't know if it's a subtle kind of augmentation to the roster, or if it's somewhere in between, but there's got to be something that goes down, and they just can't switch the coach out again. You already tried that. It didn't work.
Let me make one thing real quick. Fred Katz, there was a report about Donovan Mitchell, and that would leak right before the playoffs, that if the Cavaliers will discuss the possibility of trading Donovan Mitchell this summer if he does not sign a contract extension. Fred Katz of The Athletic. So I think part of that's hanging over this team's head. Somebody leaked that, and that's a sign that, to me, I think the Cavs would blow this thing up because nothing else has worked, including anything that Kobe Altman has done. You went for the home run trade with James Harden. That tells me either they'll go for Giannis, but if Giannis stays in Milwaukee and LeBron's going to retire, I could easily see the Cavaliers saying, that's enough, we're going to blow this thing up.
Or do you try to do like a mid-air refuel? Understand that Mitchell's contract is expiring. Harden has a player option for next year, but after that they owe him nothing. You do have the two younger guys under, Allen and Mobley under contract a little bit longer, and maybe you try to get those guys out, clear out some books, and see if you can get a new two-headed monster here in town to go along with your young guys. That might be the actual deal. I don't know if that is Giannis. I don't know if you make a call down to Miami and see if you can get out of Bio. He seems to be a little redundant with Mobley, though. So I don't know if you want that kind of thing happening. I don't know. Again, LeBron's always out there. There's always something that pops up in the NBA. So there's always Ja Morant. I don't know if you want any part of that one. I don't what's going on, but Kobe Altman. We've seen him not afraid to make a move. I think he's going to have to shed that fear if this team does have another early exit, and I count an early exit as the first or second round. First round, yeah, that's in case of emergency, break glass. Kobe Altman may be headed to the principal's office if that thing blows up in the first round too. I mean, again, we're talking about anything being on the table. So I hope we don't have to have that discussion next week. I hope we can talk about how bad the Pistons are or how bad the Magic are. But I have a bad feeling we're going to be a little tense here. And I don't even know the TV schedule. I don't know if this thing does go 7. It might be on top of our show on a Sunday night. Who knows? But we'll wait here with bated breath. Any other Cavs thoughts before we sign off on this particular?
Play better.
Yeah.
Literally,
that's what we got.
Literally,
I heard a bit of advice. I heard a bit of advice on actually sports radio. It was Jonathan Zaslow. He looked at a producer and said, "Just do better. Most of your problems will go away."
I need more than what this box score provided. I need Allen to make more than one basket. I need Evan Mobley to be in the double digits in both points and rebounds. I need James Harden to be more aggressive. I need Donovan Mitchell to look like an actual superstar, not just a role player. That's what we need.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we all know. I think we all know what needs to happen. We just got to make those thoughts actually transfer into energy and movement and action. But this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I got a quick trivia question. What do me, Double A, Eli Moon, and Diego Pavia have in common? Neither of us were drafted in the 2026 NFL draft. We're going to get into that coming back. We'll get into what the Browns were doing. They did get their linemen a little bit lower than we thought, but we'll get into what Andrew Berry did. We'll see if the experts seem to like what the Browns did. We'll see if we agree with that. Also, some general draft thoughts. And then maybe we'll get into some Guardians at the end of the show. I don't know. I mean, it just kind of seems like they're chugging along. I feel bad that we've kind of ignored them. But, yeah, we'll get into a lot more other stuff here on the main event and on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Again, I'm Rob. That's Anthony. We have Eli. And we'll be right back.
Hey, I got something to show you guys. Take a look. It is spring. Happy spring to all of you. Take a look at what we have here for you from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Beautiful spring scent candles here for you. Hand poured with premium fragrance and essential oils. How about this? Our coconut soy wax candles bring fresh, uplifting spring scents to your home. Made with clean, natural ingredients, they're a mindful choice for sensitive spaces and those who love effortless seasonal fragrances. You got to check it out right now. There's the soft bloom and the lemon bar candles, all healthy ingredients, all from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's InsideEdge20. Get this for yourself, for your friends, family, everyone. You want a good smelling home, AlleyRoseFragrances.com will make it happen. Again, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Get the new spring candles. And when you order, if you're a first-time customer, Inside Edge 20 is the promo code.
Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit Dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10.
Welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I'm Rob Rozycki. We got AA Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. I know we're going to talk NFL draft in a couple of seconds, but I do have a question for you two gentlemen. How does DeAndre Ayton look older than Andre Drummond?
He's looked old since he was at Arizona. He's a baller.
Andre Drummond's 32, by the way. I'd like to clarify that for everybody. He is 32.
I didn't realize he was that old.
It's
Drummond?
crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think, though. Drummond was a teenager when he got in the league, and they tried to write him off that he wasn't going to last very long. And I mean, granted, he's not a superstar or anything, but he's been serviceable to a lot of teams, and he's been in the
he's kind of in
quite a
the
bit.
new era of like that new generation of that NBA. Like Andre Drummond 30 years ago would be a perennial all-star. Like if he was playing with Ewing and all those kind of classic big guys, like he'd be a whole lot of a bigger deal. I think that's that's what happened. I don't think he was worse than anybody thought was going to be. I think the game just changed around him at the absolute worst time for a guy with that kind of game. But yeah, DeAndre Ayton looks older than LeBron. He's straight up like him and LeBron were in the same shot here. Houston's up 54-45, by the way. But yeah, like he looks older than the oldest player in the league.
And I was just going to bring up LeBron. I thought LeBron looked a little older when he was 16, 17, 18 years old at St. Vincent St. Mary. I thought he looked old back then.
The only difference is like he's still in shape. Obviously, he's not like he's gained weight, but he has gained weight. But he has that kind of like old man dad thicker trunk. Like he's a little bit more like the ribs got a little bigger. He's got a little bit. Back then he did look a little bit more wire thin, like a typical basketball player, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's just that he is not he's not what you would consider like a baby face type of deal. But I gotta take a look at that. I did not even like click. I was just thinking LeBron looked older when he was younger. And then, obviously you look at the clips now, it's like, what are you talking about? But when he was 18 years old, I thought he looked older. He sounded like we're gonna handle business for the team. A little deeper voice.
Well, yeah, he was a man child back then. And I think actually that's something probably, I know again we got draft coming up in a couple of seconds here, and I'm all as well. It's a big deal, especially here in town. But other thing is too, Cleveland, Akron's own LeBron James, what he's doing right now. I mean, again, we're fighting tooth and nail in a 4-5 series in the East. He's dominating a Houston team right now. I know they're down to the half by about 10, but they're up 3-0. He's the best player on his team. His other two stars are hurt, and he's doing that all while literally feeding his son for assists. And I think all of those things rolled up into one. He's not going to win a title. I don't see them upending, OKC or Boston or anybody serious out in the West too. But even if they don't, like this might be one of the more impressive things he's ever done because oldest player in the league, like. I know they're asking him, about retirement and what's in the future and everything like that. But right now, he's an all-star. He's the best player on his team. So in some ways, asking him if he's going to retire after this year would be the same thing as asking Jason Tatum or Donovan Mitchell. Are you going to They're in the same spot on their team. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, I'll be real quick with it. But basically, I don't know. I wouldn't put the Lakers away from, or the thought of beating OKC or San Antonio. Nobody thought they were going to beat Houston. I know there's a 4-5 matchup, but the same way people felt about the Cavs Raptors, that the Cavs should have taken care of business in 4 or 5 against the Raptors, they felt the same way about Houston. Now, obviously, the Kevin Durant thing's a huge wrinkle in all this with the injury, the ankle, the deep bone bruise in his ankle. You got that going on, but Houston's a team on the rise. They were expected to pretty much handle the Lakers because your point, Rob. They're missing Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. So I just think it is remarkable what LeBron's doing, and I wouldn't put it past the Lakers. They take care of this, business against Houston. I would not put it past them to give OKC a run for their money.
And I'll add one more thing about LeBron. I thought what he did in Game 3 was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in the playoffs. Period. I mean, Houston was up 6. In Game 3 with 30 seconds left in the game. And granted, the Rockets choked on their side. But LeBron getting, contributing to a critical steal, scooping the ball over, stepping back, getting the pass back, stepping back, and just hitting a critical three-pointer. And just the plays that LeBron is making. And we were talking Cavs to lead the show. That's what the Cavs are missing. Hate to say that, since we're having this LeBron conversation, but that's what the Cavs are missing. They're missing somebody who knows what to do in critical playoff situations. And LeBron, Rob, when I watch LeBron now at 41, I think of Peyton Manning, those final couple years at Denver, where he's not the fastest, he's not the strongest, but because he's the smartest.
Well,
on the field, it almost feels like LeBron is the fastest. It almost
The
feels
thing
like
is that
on the court.
by all accounts, Peyton Manning, his neck was fused together for that entire Denver run. And that last Super Bowl, again, go back and look at the numbers. I mean, Peyton Manning was not the reason why they won statistically anyway. They had a great running game. They had a great defense. A lot of people will say, yeah, Peyton Manning was drug to that second Super Bowl win. No one's dragging LeBron right now. The only people that are getting dragged are the ones that LeBron are dragging into this. There are the Bronny Jameses, the role players that this Lakers team kind of has a little bit of the vibe of the Eric Snow, Danielle Marshall, Ira Newble Cavs, where it's LeBron and some dudes. And he's going to figure this out. And yeah, that's what the Cavaliers were missing. They could have gotten out of a lot of problems, especially in that fourth quarter, if you had a dude like LeBron who knew how to just get a bucket, here and there. I mean, we saw Toronto, they had an 11-4 run that made it interesting in the third. And then all of a sudden, that fourth quarter when the Cavs were up by about 7 or 8 points, it was another run from Toronto that they just couldn't stop. And at least in that situation, you would have a guy that could stop the run. And yeah, LeBron is doing that, and he's doing that. He is a star player right now at 41 years old. He is 2 years younger than me. And he is better than anybody in the league right now.
And that's what makes this Lakers team interesting, because LeBron, as you pointed out, has that experience of leading just dudes, leading guys, right? It is weird, too, because the Lakers, all season long, when their 3 best players, LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Luka, have been on the floor together, they've struggled. Or not struggled, but they haven't won as much as compared to when only 2 of those guys are on the floor or one of those guys are on the floor. It's just weird. It's like that Lakers team, when it's just one of those guys, they win more. So it's just also, LeBron knows what to do with the basketball. The offense is flowing with that. The other thing, too, real quick, I'm sorry, I know it's not in the rundown, and I apologize, but this also shows you the difference between a LeBron James and a Kevin Durant. LeBron James coming through when adversity strikes with the team versus Kevin Durant. I know he's injured. I know he's hurt. But if I'm a Rockets fan, I'm a little ticked off about how Kevin Durant's handling things right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very ticked off because come on, dude.
He's not playing tonight. All accounts is that, when the going gets tough, Kevin Durant goes on the injury report. And that seems to be what's kind of happening. But that, to go back to the greatness of LeBron, and I hate to kind of talk like the homer here, but all of this is true. This is a dude who, when he came into the league, the question was LeBron or Kobe. And, Vince Carter was a perennial all-star back then. Tracy McGrady. It seems like if it's Kevin Durant, if it's Steph Curry, if it's Paul Pierce, if it's any one of these bona fide Hall of Fame players, their opponent for LeBron for a chapter or two, and then you throw him by the wayside, what's the next big thing? It is the same guy who was going straight up one-on-one against Kobe going to now go head up against SGA in a conference final? That's, I mean, you're in basketball terms, in sports terms, that's immortal. You are just not concerned with the comings and goings of today or this season. You are existing on a completely different level. And I don't know the stat, chapter and verse, but LeBron has more 25, 5-5 games in the playoffs if you just have his career out in the first half or the second half than Michael Jordan does in his entire career. Yeah. If he wins tonight, he'll have more playoff victories than the entire Bulls franchise. That's the entire Michael run before and after. He is almost incapable of this point, or somebody would be incapable of just judging him against one other player. It's teams, it's eras, it's everybody.
And LeBron, to real quick, Eli, to Rob's point, 25-5-5 playoff games. And this was just updated as a day ago. LeBron, after turning 30, has 80. LeBron, before turning 30, has 75. Michael Jordan, Eli, has 73 total games in his career where he scored 25-5-5.
Yeah, I think this will probably be one of the most impressive feats he does if he does get past. I mean, he'll get past the first round, I believe. I also said the Cavs would win in 5, so I'm not too hot right now with my playoff predictions. But I do think LeBron will handle this. The Lakers will get past the Rockets, even if they lose tonight. And I do think they'll give hell to OKC. I do think that will be a really tough series, and I think at the end of the day, you're going up against you got the defending champions in OKC against a guy who's won it 4 times, been there a ton of times, that being the finals. So I think it'd be a good series, and I truly think, it's like the elder statesman. We kind of talked about it with the NFL a little bit, where you have, for the AFC for so long, it was the elder statesman of Tom Brady, and then you had a bunch of guys trying to knock him off. Well, LeBron's the elder statesman of the NBA, trying to go get another ring, and you have a bunch of young guys, Wembanyama trying to get his first, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trying to win his second, and all of that OKC young squad, Jokic trying to go get another one. I mean, it's pretty much must-watch TV. Everything we talked about with the NFL playoffs is there's some storylines really taking place here in the NBA playoffs.
All I can think of is Shannon Sharp. Like, OKC, NBC, NBA, Lakers at 5.
That's funny.
All I can think of.
Is Shannon about LeBron's age? I think they graduated high school around the same time. But yeah, the NBA right now, and they need it after this mucky regular season, after a lot of load management and tanking questions. They need a great playoffs, and right now it's working out pretty well. You even look at San Antonio, Portland. That was a little bit more interesting than we thought it was going to be because of the Wemby injury. You got Jokic and Richard, and Edwards just beating the crap out of each other, literally. And so, you got a lot of great storylines and great personalities in this playoffs. And that might be why the Cavaliers have been relegated to the NBA TV series, basically, this time around, with the place of the series that they really don't know where to put. Because, nothing against the Cavs, nothing against the Raptors. You got Boston trying to overcome the Tatum injury and, pretend that never happened. You have Detroit and the upstart Pistons. You got a lot of big storylines happening right now. And the Cavaliers, okay, they got Harden. But, okay, James Harden being in the playoffs has been a constant the last 17 years. What next? And James Harden folding up in the playoffs has been 17 years going. What next? So, yeah, the NBA, at least right now, is working out pretty well.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. I mean, and let's be real, Rob. That game earlier today with the Cavs and Raptors, would you have wanted to see that game on ABC?
I did actually. It was. I thought I was watching Spurs Pistons in the finals back in 2004 when Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace were throwing people for distance. And the league average in points was 84.
The Raptors won today, shooting 4 of 30 from three-point land.
Yeah.
They won a playoff game in 2026, shooting 4 of 30 from 3.
Yeah, that really happened. Yeah, that really happened.
Yeah, and I know we got to go to break here, and I know we're going to talk a whole bunch of other great stuff coming up. A busy weekend for Cleveland, as you mentioned, Rob, and just the sports world in general. But I will say this. Primetime, and I said it on Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell, but I will say this. Primetime this week will be must-watch television, because if the Cavs lose another game, if they lose Game 5 in Cleveland, and we all have post-game coverage here on the Inside Edge Network, give us a follow Inside Edge Net on all the socials, like and subscribe, all that great stuff. Chad Bryant and I, we might have to, I might have to smoke a cigarette on air. I don't know if we're allowed to do that, Double A. I haven't smoked a cigarette in like 5 years, 6 years. I might have to smoke a cigarette because I'm so stressed out by how poorly this team is doing. We were all ready to call it a sweep after the first 2 games. Now look at us. Back to you, Rob.
Well, and that's the thing, too, with basketball. The modern NBA is that, we see it happen within games and now within series where one team can just look amazing 1 minute and then look like dog shit the next. And, Minnesota and Denver series kind of comes to mind. Remember, they were playing last year, and like 4 of those games were like 40-point ass whoopings in every direction, but it was still a really competitive series kind of in a way. So that's kind of what the NBA is right now. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some good home cooking for the Cavs. Hopefully they'll be able to hit some damn 3-point shots and not turn the ball over at this epic rate, because I think it's just that simple. You don't turn the ball over, you hit your 3-point shots, your chances of victory go up dramatically. And again, I'm not exactly Dr. Naismith, but I think I do know that one. But yeah, we'll come back here after the top of the hour break here. We'll got NFL draft. I swear we'll hit that. It seems like we have been so NBA heavy this first hour. Guardians, they lose 2 out of 3 in Toronto. So on behalf of the city of Cleveland, we can just tell Toronto to fuck off. I think that might be the best thing to do before we go to break. But yeah, we'll definitely get into the NFL draft, some other stuff here, winding out the show. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got AA Anthony Alford. We got Eli Moon. I'm Rob Rozycki, and we will be right back.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com. Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at SportsMemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the SportsMemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee.
Welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got AA Anthony Alford, we have Eli Moon, and I am Rob Rozycki. And we are in hour 2 of our extravaganza with our brand new happy, quicker format. I hope it's working out well for everybody, as well as it's working out for me, to be quite honest with you. Gentlemen, we didn't lead off with this, even though it seems like we live in a football-centric world. Where the NFL kind of dictates everything we do media-wise. Just ask Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel. But the NFL draft, we didn't lead with it, mainly because, for me anyway, it's kind of tough to grade these things right now. You know, these guys aren't even signed yet. You know, guys are still traveling to Cleveland at this point, let alone playing snaps. But that doesn't change the fact the Browns added, I believe it was 10 new players in the 2026 NFL draft. A lot of them are very large and are expected to block for the quarterback. Spencer Fennell leading the class now at 9. Andrew Berry did trade down a couple of spots to grab the guy that the Browns were pretty much locked in on the whole way. How are we feeling about this new batch of millionaires, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Mixed feelings, but better than, it's like, let me explain it. It's like if you go on a date, right? You go on a date and you're like, this is really good. Like, okay, we started off real good. We went and got dinner. Okay, she likes what I like. This is amazing. Like, we got Spencer Fano. We know we needed that spaghetti and meatballs. We know we needed the lineman. We know we needed Fano. And then, you know what happens, Rob? You know what happens? They order a disgusting dessert. Because that's what the 24th pick should have been, a dessert. And they got Casey Concepcion, who I still have mixed feelings about. They're not.
Is he your new Corey Coleman?
Yeah, I actually said that on the post-game, or midnight run post-game.
Okay.
Midnight run of the draft, post-game of the draft, basically, and post-game of the Cavaliers here on the Inside Edge Network. I said, I'm getting Corey Coleman vibes. This guy...
Well, he's tiny and drops the ball a lot. I can understand it.
Thank you, Rob. You know what? You saved me a few moments here because... It's, you hear about how great he is after the catch and the plays he makes after the catch and everything in the speed after the catch. I just kept hearing this one word, catch. And then I heard that he drops the ball quite a bit. And I know there are people and there's analysts out there that say, well, it went down. His drop percentage went down. That's amazing. It's still the biggest weakness. And for a wide receiver, that's like saying a quarterback can't throw the ball more than 20 yards. And you draft him in the 3rd round. Oh, well... We did that. But here we are with Casey Concepcion, and I feel a little better. I feel a little better because Denzel Boston is a Cleveland Brown, and he was taken with the 39th pick. It was the best pick in the draft for the Cleveland Browns. I would even say over the Fano
actually at the station that we wanted Boston to go at 24 to the Browns. Like we thought that was the correct pick there. So yeah, picking him at a few spots lower, you might have wished the other pick went in a different direction, but that's still a good value.
Yeah, and AA, it makes you feel better, I'd imagine, about Casey Concepcion. I know you and Chad weren't feeling as bad as I was about it, but it makes me at least feel a little better that, okay, he's a slot guy. If you can get him into space and he can just hang on to the football, then we got something there. And Denzel Boston, I truly, truly think could be a wide receiver one for the Cleveland Browns. He's got the frame. He's got to get a little tougher. He's got to get a little more physical. But, I mean, I think Denzel Boston, the draft selection, makes me feel a lot better about Casey Concepcion. But I still have my concerns about Casey.
Yeah, couple things. Number one, you kind of tell Paul DePodesta is not there anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Good luck, Colorado Rockies. You can kind of tell because this was at least, appears at this moment, this was a smart draft for the Cleveland Browns. They fulfilled all the needs. And if we only got Concepcion at 24 and that was it from the receiver standpoint, I would be worried for the reasons you pointed out, Eli, with the drops. But adding Boston, you have insurance there at the receiver position. So, and they need wideouts for whoever the starting quarterback is going to be, whether it's Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders. You do need that. I like McNeil Warren. I know, Toledo guy. I know. I'll agree. I get it. But addressing that need too, that's pretty huge to me. Safety, a little bit more firepower, at the safety position for the Browns. So it's clear to me that at least they went in with a plan to add pieces across the board, especially offensively, add those pieces. And I think that was huge. And then one last thing, Rob, I was with Kyle Cornell earlier today. He was heading over to church, and we brought up how many quarterbacks have played all 17 regular season games last season. And the answer, and if you take away, let's just say you take away that week 18 might be on the rest, only 11 quarterbacks played all meaningful games in the regular season last year. So chances are, whether you have Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson, chances are they're not going to play all 16, 17 games. So I don't mind later on in the draft picking up Green from Arkansas. I was picked number 182. See how that goes, because you cannot put Dylan Gabriel on that field ever again if you're the Cleveland Browns. You need some insurance in that QB room. So late in the draft, I like that selection as well. I thought on paper this was a good, all-around draft. And with Spencer Fano, I had concerns initially because I didn't do my homework. You're going to move a right tackle over to a left tackle. At Utah, he was a player of the year left tackle. Mm-hmm. Utah asked him to move to right tackle, and he thrived there too. So I was wrong there in my evaluation. I like what they have done, Rob.
That makes me happy.
The thing is, too, we talk about the absence of Paul DePodesta. He's now, Rocky Mountain High. Catherine Hickman, she is the assistant GM of the Cleveland Browns. She had a lot to say about that McNeil Warren, that safety you guys grabbed. It seems like she is, at this rate, she is, it seems like with the respect that she has and the work that she's doing, she is, paving a path for herself to be the first woman who is the head of a player personnel department here. Her fingerprints have been all over these two drafts too. So yeah, it seems like anyway, addition by subtraction with DePodesta, and with Hickman coming in, things might be a little bit different. And yeah, AA, I'm with you. Again, especially offensive linemen, we don't know. We thought Jedrick Wills was going to be the next Joe Thomas. We just don't know until you see it, especially with O-linemen. So at this rate, you're right. They had a plan. We knew what the needs were. We knew it was offensive line. We knew it was receiver. We knew it to a point it was tight end with Njoku leaving. And they went out and they got that. And they went out and they, I give Andrew Berry a lot of credit for picking up a couple extra picks and grabbing still the first tackle off the board. That's what you wanted to do. So, at the very least, they picked the pick of the litter. Their number one guy. They didn't have to settle on that. So you got 2 extra picks out of that. Great. Happy. No problem at all. And your quarterback point, I know in Cleveland you don't like to hear this name a lot, but that was the old Mike Holmgren rule, was you draft a quarterback every year. You never know. Somebody could turn into something. You could have a project. You could have somebody who's tradable. It could have your starter. Who knows? So, a 7th round pick or 6th round pick. The only crazy thing with Cleveland, specifically, maybe just this year, is any pick at quarterback. It doesn't matter if it's a 7th or a 1st. The starting quarterback in town's a 5th round pick. So that doesn't necessarily mean he could not be a threat down the line. So at that rate, I understand maybe why people are a little panicky, but you draft a quarterback every year, no problem. Especially, you bring up the stat of a lot of these quarterbacks do play. You need at least 2 to get through a normal season. So, I'm pretty happy where the Browns are at.
Yeah, and I believe we have some sound from Catherine Hickman. We were referencing her earlier about Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety out of Toledo, which is exciting. Maybe it ends AA's hate for Toledo. We could see some real change here on the network. Kyle and AA might actually hug on the Side Hustle Wrestling podcast.
Okay. Stop it. Just go ahead and play the clip. Stop it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and play the clip here. This is Catherine Hickman speaking on Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the Toledo safety that's now a Cleveland Brown.
Just a really mature, impressive young man. Talked about, when we met, he talked about his journey, not having a lot of offers coming out of high school, going to JUCO, and then how he felt the connection, the chemistry, at Toledo when he went there. They offered him, he committed on the spot. And then he had offers to transfer, decided to stay, which, as you guys all know, it's almost, I think, something pretty rare nowadays. Just was really loyal to the school that gave him a chance, and he wanted to do the best he could there, and he did that. So really, we're welcoming someone that's going to really add to our culture, and someone that's extremely, extremely mature and well-rounded.
Well, DeAndre Ayton for the Lakers, on a completely unrelated note, just elbowed a dude in the head and got ejected. So,
Rob, we got to get you an Ayton jersey, buddy. We got to get you an Ayton jersey. You're
becoming
DeAndre Ayton.
Dude, he was actually leading the Lakers in scoring when he did it. I think that's maybe why they were showing it so much. But going back to Hickman, though, I mean, and what McNeil-Warren, I mean, at this rate, you got to be happy with where the Browns went. I think they did find some value. I don't know if McNeil-Warren's going to pull a Carson Schlesinger and kind of come out of nowhere and be the defensive rookie of the year or anything, but I think they did grab a lot of quality pieces, and they understood that they couldn't. What I like too is that they had the first 2, those 2 first-round picks, and they didn't go quarterback crazy. They didn't try to force an issue. They didn't try to jump, over the Rams and pick up Ty Simpson or anything like that. So, they did kind of keep to their board. They kept to their plan. They knew what they were working with. And I mean, the only way that we're really going to see if anybody is going to be any good or not is to get these guys in pads and then get these guys playing in real games. So at this rate, though, the Browns, for what we know, I think did pretty well.
Yeah. And real quick, I want to give courtesy to Leah Dorothy of Channel 19 for that clip, for pulling that on social media. Eli, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thanks for the clip. We appreciate it. We love hearing great things about the Cleveland Browns. We've spent so many months talking about the doom and gloom. So it feels good after a successful draft, at least on paper, so far for Andrew Berry and the Browns. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren will be exciting. Back to Fano for a moment. I just want to stress the point that there are people all across Cleveland and nationally that are still mad that Caleb Lamu wasn't the pick. And Double H, to your point, Fanu, a top lineman at left tackle. Caleb Lamu would not have started until Fanu went to the league. That's the reality. They may have to make room for him on the line. So if anything, it's like a plus. It's not the Jedrick Wills situation where he was a right tackle, but he was the blind side because he was defending a left-handed quarterback in Tua. it's a completely different situation. He's played both sides of the ball out with a right-handed quarterback, so it's completely different. And I think the other big thing here too with the Cleveland Browns is everybody wanted when they went back down to 9, right? And they realized, okay, well, Carnell Tate went off the board at 4, 6. There's so much talent. They moved back to 9. Okay, Jordan Tyson could have been the pick. He goes 8 to the Saints. I know Kyle's probably thrilled somewhere. We'll hear about it, I'm sure.
Well, Caleb Downs was also out there too. That was that was where I thought if the Browns were going to go freaking crazy. I mean, in the drafted Warren anyway, so they were kind of hunting safety to begin with. But
that's I guess my point is they still address defense, and everybody there's people I've been seeing on social media. People are mad that the Browns didn't go for the sexy pick of Caleb Downs or maybe go get Reuben Bain to pair it alongside Myles Garrett or one of these guys. The reality of the situation is this. The Browns needed to address lineman and receiver. We've all spent months on this network here on the Inside Edge Network talking about lineman and receiver. They drafted 3 linemen, 2 tackles, and I believe a guard, or excuse me, a center. A guard or a center for the Browns. I'm going to double check myself here.
You got a center.
Okay, center, thank you. So center and 2 tackles, and then 2 tight ends they addressed. They doubled down on receiver as well. I mean, they did the things. You got a safety, so you still addressed it. I guess it's not Caleb Downs, it's not a Buckeye, so I guess there's going to be some people mad, but Rob, to your point too about and to your point about Schlesinger, maybe this guy McNeil Warren isn't a Schlesinger, but in fairness, I don't think anybody saw Carson Schlesinger winning Defensive Rookie of the Year,
no.
And he came out and balled out. So let's see. I mean, so far, based off of what it looks like on paper and what was last year draft wise, Andrew Berry starting to build a little bit of goodwill, not a ton, but a little bit of goodwill with Cleveland. And if this looks good in September to maybe January, I won't say February. That's a big ask. But maybe we're talking a little bit differently and giving them a chance going into a third successful draft. Todd McShay, even AA, on his podcast I was reading, had mentioned that this is the best he's felt about the Cleveland Browns organization in a long time after the draft they just had on paper and last year's draft. So there's national media seemingly starting to get excited about the Browns. It's hard for us in Cleveland because we see it every day. We've been through the pain and we're right off a tough season.
Baggage is the word you're looking for.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. But I guess my thing is they have had a good draft last year. They did have a good draft, I should say, and they've had a good one on paper. We'll see if it performs.
And my last point, real quick, if this does work out in terms of you got these rookies up for like Rookie of the Year awards at the end of the season, you see marked improvement with the Cleveland Browns. Don't be surprised if Catherine Hickman is up for GM jobs.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. She could very well be promoted to and Andrew Berry ain't going anywhere. So it's going to have to be with somebody else. But, and I guess a couple seconds or less, I know we're running short on time here. With all the free agency moves, the offensive line, all of the things that they have done in free agency in the draft, are the Browns a better team now than they were at the end of last season?
Yes.
They are.
Okay.
They are.
Did good.
Good
shit lollipop. Good stuff.
Yeah. I don't know how much better. I mean, I had them winning 4 games before the draft this upcoming year, so I mean, maybe a few more win improvement. But it's improvement that can be built upon, and I'll take that.
Speaking of Paul DePodesta and the Colorado Rockies, that's one thing that they have in common with the Browns. Nowhere to go but up, baby. I think they started 9-50 last year. They're like 11-24 right now. They're like the only team that's happy to be 13 games under 500.
Dude.
But and that's Paul DePodesta, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Inside Network, Inside Edge Radio Podcasting Network, whatever the hell we're on. It's 11:30 at this point. I'm Rob Rozycki. We have AA Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. At least I got those names correct. We have 1 or 2 more segments left before we part ways here. Do you want to do a little longer one, or do you want to do a couple of quick ones here before we part ways? Either way, we're going to be taking a break pretty soon.
I think we can do a big one to wrap up.
Okay, we can do. We'll do it. We can do a little bit of length here. We'll get some news and notes out of the way. Something happened in athletics, in a sport that has been around since we have been around. Something happened in one of those sports that has never, ever happened. And I want to get into that in the news and notes. I'm sure these guys got some topics. Figure out what we've learned. We'll come back here. We'll wrap this puppy up. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I got that right that time. I am Rob Rozycki. We have Anthony Alford. We have Eli Moon. And the Lakers are down by 20. We'll be right back here. We'll see you soon.
The Inside Edge Network is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and athletes, to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We're talking NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, National Hockey League, the NCAA. I'm a wrestling guy as well. We got WWE apparel available too. It allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. It's right there in the corner of your screen. Get your official gear. Level up with us at fanatics.com.
Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee.
Hey, I got something to show you guys. Take a look. It is spring. Happy spring to all of you. Take a look at what we have here for you from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Beautiful spring scent candles here for you. Hand poured with premium fragrance and essential oils. How about this? Our coconut soy wax candles bring fresh, uplifting spring scents to your home. Made with clean, natural ingredients, they're a mindful choice for sensitive spaces and those who love effortless seasonal fragrances. You got to check it out right now. There's the soft bloom and the lemon bar candles, all healthy ingredients, all from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's InsideEdge20. Get this for yourself, for your friends, family, everyone. You want a good-smelling home, AlleyRoseFragrances.com will make it happen. Again, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Get the new spring candles. And when you order, if you're a first-time customer, InsideEdge20 is the promo code.
Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit Dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com.
Welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I am Rob Rozycki. We've got Anthony Alford, Eli Moon, and final segment of the show. We'll go over some just odds and ends here, and I will tease because I am not exactly the most organized person. We've been getting this going on the fly. I want to debut a new segment, gentlemen, at the end of this segment. Actually, this will be the Nimrod of the week. This will highlight some ridiculous-ass sports take that either didn't age well right now or, in the case of this one, was planted about 7 years ago and is just waiting to explode right now. But we'll get into what quite possibly might be the dumbest take of the last 10 years from somebody who gets paid a lot of money to make these takes. But yeah, news and notes right now, gentlemen. The first thing I want to start out with, and I kind of talked to you guys about it a little bit in our pre-show meeting. We had some history made in London, right? Actually today, Sebastian Sawe. He is a Kenyan long-distance runner. He did something that, quite frankly, I don't think anybody's ever done in human history. You look at sports in general, I think probably the two oldest forms of competition were I can run faster than you, or I can punch you in the face harder than you could punch me. I would think those are your two, so you got pretty much track and field and MMA. This is track and field. Sebastian Sawe ran the first sub 2 hour marathon in human history, or at least in recorded history. 26.2 miles. I think the three of us, that would take the better part of an afternoon or the better part of a day. That took him a little less time than it took the Cavaliers to lose game 4. And the astonishing part of this one is, and some of these other numbers are amazing, he broke the world record by 65 seconds. So I know marathons are not timed out by the thousandth of a second or anything like that, but I would think a 65-second record blowout would be probably the equivalent of winning a football game 70-0. And the other thing is that he ran the first sub 2 hour deal, and the guy who finished second ran the second sub 2 hour marathon. And the guy who finished third, I think, was only about a half a second over 2 hours. So you had 3 guys break the world record in one shot. I'd hate to be number 3. Good news is you broke the world record. Bad news is 2 other people did it before you did. So tough cookies. Yeah. But I think this is just worthy of highlighting right now and talking about it a little bit, because this is lengths of human athleticism here. And if you look at the replay, it doesn't really look like he's working all that hard. That's the amazing part of it. But yeah, do you guys have any thoughts and comments on that one?
I think the main thought that stands out to me is, while we have the program director of the Inside Edge Network, AA Anthony Alford, here with us, I think there's one thing to do: get an Inside Edge Network marathon going, and we'll see who can set
to do what?
To run the marathon.
What marathon? That one?
Like the one they just did, yeah.
Eli,
hell no.
I think what we'll do is that in honor of this record, in honor of Sawe, we will be on for exactly 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 30 seconds. I think that could be a little bit more attainable than what you're planning there.
Hold up. I'm going to write that down. We're at 1:39:30.
That gives us 21 minutes. So 20 minutes.
Write that down, Eli.
Writing it down. And I'll tell you, fellas, I mean, just crazy, Rob. I mean, you brought it up. Just insane. I mean, obviously, I did track. I did the 1600. I mean, but nothing to brag about. I did it in 8th grade. I thought I was the shit then, because I could do a 1600 in 7 or 8 minutes. This guy's doing a full marathon in under 2 hours. I mean, that's insane. I just think it's cool. I like highlighting the cool stories. I'm glad we're able to do so. You're not really talking about marathons very often. We talk about cycling, especially when Lance Armstrong was big into it. I mean,
well, it's a sport America's never dominated in. That might be why.
Yeah,
we've never even had I don't think we've ever had a gold medal winner at the Olympics in the marathon. If we did, it had to have been 100 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, and our sport is the sprints and the 400s and that.
Throwing things. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have the top 7 in world records in marathon.
In that one race?
Yes.
I wonder. Honestly, I wonder if there's going to be any sort of investigation with wind, or because I know sometimes you can get some records negated with with the elements. That seems. I wonder what happened. I wonder if there was something that that changed before this race compared to any other race. Because I mean, under 2 hours is amazing, but you got 7 dudes in those standings that broke the old world record in one shot. That would be, again, having 7 quarterbacks throwing for 5,300 yards this year.
Now, the one thing, though, that people outside of running and people, they'll understand this. You can't coach speed. You can coach speed. You can coach endurance. So there's, I don't want to say like there's something in the water over there, but like they know, like when you specialize in certain events and certain marathon runs, and you do this for a living, you can definitely coach your way to that. But to that point, Rob, we brought up during the pre-show, what did our friend Nick Camino always say? Today's athletes are bigger, faster, stronger than ever before. And he was saying that in 2018, 2019. At some point, I hope it doesn't happen ever, but you guys remember Good Burger.
Yeah.
You remember the competitor that had the Mondo Burger. The bigger burger.
Bigger than the Big Arch?
Mm-hmm.
All
yeah,
right.
the super big arch.
Okay.
If I'm not saying it's happening here at the marathon, I'm not. I'm just going to make that clear. But if you go too far with these records across sports, you go too far. I don't want a situation where you're putting too much crap into your body and then.
Well, do you know what happened? At least according to legend, to the first person to ever run the marathon.
No, I do not.
Somebody back in ancient Rome ran the 26 miles to talk about the Battle of Marathon and give the actual results, and then deliver the news and died. So, yeah, I mean, that's one of those things. What I was thinking about, though, honestly, we got to figure out how far is too far, how far is just far enough. I mean, we see it happen all the time in the NFL with a lot of these, injuries, especially with the guys who are carrying a lot of muscle and are these, dump trucks with pads on. Like JJ Watt was one of those guys that, like, he wouldn't have a normal injury. It would be like, oh, the quad completely detached from the bone, or, the shoulder is, the dislocated hips. And I think a lot of that stuff is because, we are just putting too much force on, the couple hundred bones we do have. And we're seeing some things happen. What I was thinking, though, and you brought up with the 7 guys who finished above world record pace, correct me if I'm wrong. And do you guys know who the first person to run a sub 4-minute mile was?
No.
When we think of speed, we think of Britain and white guys. Roger Bannister. He did that back, I believe, in the 50s. And what they did with him was to run, and he ran it on a track. What they did with him was they gave him a fresh runner. It's 4 laps on the track, right? They gave him a fresh runner every lap to pace him. So he was running against somebody.
Oh, that's
because
smart.
when you're running against nobody, you're not moving as fast. So maybe the fact that, that dude, we had a world record go, we had Sawe get the world record, but he was still trying to win the race also. So you had that motivation behind him too. So the pack of guys were just moving that fast. Yeah, okay, to just be at the lead of the pack, you have to shatter the world record by 65 seconds. So that might have been why too.
Smart. Yeah, definitely. That's smart. I don't know if I've had new workout goals. I don't think running a marathon will ever be a part of that. But I do have loads of respect for anybody who has even attempted a half marathon, let alone a full 26 miles. I think it's an accomplishment just to run a mile, just period. So congrats. They can have that one.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Oh Lord, but yes, this is the. I just thought that was worthy to bring up here.
No, that's huge.
Yeah.
That is a huge story to go sub 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I was thinking too was, and I don't know the records off the top of my head, but things like powerlifting and squat, that kind of stuff. When we're talking about literally the old school athleticism measurables, lifting and strength, foot speed, quickness, that basically the ability to dodge the lions on the Serengeti when we were a couple chromosomes away from baboons. But that old school stuff again. I wonder, is there going to be a top out to the powerlifting record when it's just like, okay, we don't have to measure anymore because there's going to be literally nobody that's going to put 2,000 pounds and squat it, or bench 1,300 pounds or whatever whatever Mark Henry was doing back in the day. But yeah, like it's. And and again, too, we even just see it with the NFL. Like, how fast can these guys get? How strong can these guys get? And we seem to find a new answer to that question almost daily. So, I think the most astonishing part about this world record is that it's probably going to get broken at some point in time, and somebody's going to be running a sub 159, 158. And where do we go? Do we take a time machine 200 years from now and the world record, they're looking for a sub 90-minute marathon? Like, what's going on there? So
they must have W energy, bro. That's all I'm going to say, is they must be using some W energy, using the code Inside Edge 10, and they must be getting loaded up on W energy. I mean, have we found out if this guy's been using our code? I mean, he had to have been, right, Rob? Right?
At this rate, I mean, dude, it looked like he looked like Anthony right now, just sitting here chilling. Like, there was no sweat, there was no effort. He's just
probably with a lot less body fat though.
maybe at this rate, and might be a little taller. He looked like he looked pretty leggy.
Oh, damn.
No, that's not an insult. I think you gotta. I've always said this, and this is from my own perspective. Shorter people have to work twice as hard in running events. We have more steps that we got to take. I've always hated racing a tall person. If you're a tall person watching this, I'm taking a shot at you. I always hated racing tall people because I had to work twice as hard to make up for the steps that they could just. Well,
and I know it's a funny comparison, but it's an extreme one. I'm not saying you're this way, AA, but I was feeling bad when I was at Disney because you would see like the 4 or 5 year old kids. They're trying to keep pace with the parents, but those little legs have to move twice as fast to just deal with whatever 6 foot dad's dealing with. So like I can understand why you were dragging kids out completely unconscious by the end of the day because they've gone through about 10,000 calories.
Oh, ain't that the truth? Oh man, I think some parents though just did that on purpose so their kid could go to sleep at the end of the day.
That would. We talked to a few couples in the smokers area, about 9, 10 o'clock or whatever. And that was their plan, was they had the kids run around all day, do the pool, do the park, do all this kind of stuff. They Instacarted a couple of bottles of Jack Daniels over around 8 o'clock. And after the kids went to bed, that was when the parents had vacation.
Word. Fair. You can't knock it.
Nikki and I were taking notes.
Good. What else we got, buddy?
Oh, I'm trying to think here. Let's see here. Do we have anybody interested in Mike Tomlin going to Sunday Night Football?
Oh, yes. We have so much love here and respect for Mike Tomlin, us as Cleveland Browns fans. We loved him whooping our ass. Yeah, what? I mean, here's the thing with Mike Tomlin, Rozycki. Since you opened up Pandora's box, Mike Tomlin will last 2 seasons at most as an analyst or, in studio commentator before he's back coaching. That's the reality of the situation. There's going to be an opening in the NFL that opens up. I mean, we don't know what's going on in New England right now with Mike Vrabel. I mean, that could be a possibility. These other jobs that open up. Mike Tomlin is just staying in the football eye because he doesn't want to miss it. He doesn't want to miss football.
Just like Bill Cowher.
Possibly, but I don't think it's the same thing.
Who's celebrating his 20th season at CBS.
I don't think it's the same thing, though. I think Mike Tomlin's a little differently. I mean, Bill Cowher also went out on top. He won a Super Bowl right near the end of his career.
Year before. His last season was actually the Steelers' last losing season, 6-10.
Right, but I'm saying near the end. I mean, and Tomlin's had a lot of playoff failures, so I don't think he wants that to be his lasting impact. I do think he's going to go somewhere else. I give it a year or two. That's my thought. I think he'll be good, too, as far as, like, in studio commentating or, analysis, I think he'll be very good giving some takes. I mean, he's a winning coach. He's never had a losing season. He'll be good. But he's just going to, show his mind a little bit more to these organizations that might have an opening in a year or two.
First off, with Bill Cowher, we're still waiting. He still has a home in Strongsville. We're waiting.
You're right.
Yeah, Strongsville, Berea, I think Ashland for a second. Yeah,
I heard somebody saw him at the Strongsville Mall the other day.
He might have been there. By the way, if you're near Ashland, make sure you're driving the speed limit. Anywho,
yeah.
Tomlin's going to definitely get offers, but it's going to be kind of like Bill Cowher. I think what's interesting too, Tomlin, he just turned 54 back in March. He just turned 54, so he is in that sweet spot, kind of like Bill Cowher, who was 49 when he left the Steelers. Where the first,
he's not old, he's not young.
But he's been around for a long time. Those first couple of years, he will receive offers. But I could easily look. Broadcasters get paid these days, so I could easily see. Hey, if he's
those broadcasters get paid. Let's not say all broadcasters get paid right now.
Tom Brady gets paid. Tony Romo gets paid. I think NBC's paying Tomlin pretty well. Yeah. I'll just say that. So if he's still getting his fix of traveling on the road to the game of the week, Sunday Night Football, if he's still getting that fix, coaches are still going to talk to him, on the road. He's still going to get those connects. So it's going to be a matter of if he enjoys this, then it could be good.
And then and you kind of mentioned that with enjoy. I think, and Bill Cowher's talked about it a little bit too, that becoming a regular person again, an actual husband and father, and an actual person who, has hobbies and interests and, and actually does normal things is very addictive. And, the fact that Tomlin's run in Pittsburgh, I know Cowher had a hell of a run in Pittsburgh too, time-wise. Tomlin blew that out of the water. He was there almost 20 years, 19 full seasons.
Yeah.
And that's a longer run than most. And the fact that now for the first time in 20 years, he does not have to get up at 4:30 in the morning and worry about, what's going on with the draft or free agency or watching film and all that kind of stuff. He might look around and say, you know what? I might be A-okay with that. Look at like Jimmy Johnson, too. He retired pretty much on top of the game, too, in Miami. And his was different. He looked around and realized how much he was missing and then realized he needed to change his life. And just realized, hey, I have no problem living in the Florida Keys and just chilling out on a boat all day. I mean, that's a lot worse existence. And Tomlin has the money to do it. He does not have to work again.
Yeah, and my final thought on this is because I know we have a few more things to get to here. Is just you look at John Harbaugh going to the Giants, a guy that pretty much head coaching career kind of similar to Mike Tomlin and started around the same time. Very similar, where if John Harbaugh goes and balls out with the Giants, and they had a pretty good draft themselves, but they go out and ball out, I just think Mike Tomlin's going to get that itch. He doesn't want. You're bringing up guys, Rozycki, and I get it, but you're bringing up guys that their last year or two were right in the competition for a title, if not winning the championship. I think that's different than Mike Tomlin. I'm not saying he's not a successful coach. I mean, there's something to be said about 19 winning seasons or not a losing season as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a big deal. But a lot of people are going to remember him dropping the ball multiple seasons at the end of his playoff tenure with the Steelers. So I think if Harbaugh starts balling out and teams start calling and it is the right fit, obviously it's got to be the right fit. He's not going to come back and coach a team that is years away from competing. But if he can go out there and put himself in position to go run another mini dynasty, win 2-3, or at least put yourself in competition to do so, I do think he would. I truly think.
Well, and that's what it might be, is that if he goes a couple of years and is very selective about those opportunities, and it is 3 or 4 or 5 years and nothing's tickled his fancy.
Yeah, then
that's
he just is.
Then you're a broadcaster at that point. So at this rate, anything could happen. He did what Obama did with the presidency. He's done what a lot of people do with parenting. You got it done early and out of the way, so now you have a lot of time to be a cool retiree or grandfather. He can do whatever he wants. Again, Double A said it. He's not 60 years old yet. So, at this rate, he can If he wants, he can go coach college if he wanted to.
Yeah,
You know,
the options are on the table. And his 3 kids, they're all out of the house. I mean, they're all adults, right? I mean, his 3 kids, they all went to either they went to college or his youngest Harley is in college right now.
Right.
So yeah, the options are on the table. You will tell based on the quality of his commentary whether or not he wants to go back or not. If he's holding back,
Then he wants to come back.
Yeah.
If he's going up with a blowtorch and just burning everything down, then yeah, all right, he'll be in the Hall of Fame in 4 or 5 years, whenever.
Right.
Yeah. All right. This is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We have broken our promise. I think we're going to exceed the hour 59:30 here. But let's, right before we get out of here, figure out what we've learned, gentlemen, in our 7 days here on this planet.
Yeah, I'll start. What I've learned this weekend is that I had to get hip to the movie Trolls. My niece, shout out my niece Arrow, it was her birthday on Friday, and our theme for the party was Trolls. If you guys haven't seen the movie Trolls, I've seen bits and pieces and enough to know that it's pretty cool, man. And we rocked and rolled with some Trolls, and shout out like I said, my niece Arrow. It was her 2nd birthday. What I learned this weekend, it's very cool being an uncle. If you guys would have asked me 10 years ago when we started doing the show if I was going to be an uncle or, you know, in a position where I had to be some sort of a role model, I'd laugh and be like, okay, let's talk about some Cavs again. It's crazy to think, and I love some sports, you know, and I love everything we get to talk about here, but just taking the time for a moment to say, like, the impact that we're able to make with what we're doing on the network, what I'm doing with the collective Lahele, and getting to see that, see how proud the family was today, get to rock out and be a role model for my niece and nephew. I don't think I'm going to, you know, and here's something maybe of the clip double, and we use this in like 10 years, but I don't think I'm having any kids of my own. So Uncle E, I'm cool with it, man. And I'm blessed. Like I said, it's cool to see my niece and write it down. It's cool to see my niece and nephew, though. Really, you know, in a way, kind of like looking up to Uncle E. They're happy when I walk in the room, and I'm blessed for the opportunity here on the network, Inside Edge Network. Blessed with Lahele, the collective, and yeah, it's cool. So I learned that Trolls is really awesome. That I got a really cool niece and nephew, and it's pretty cool being a role model. 10 years ago, if you would have asked me, I would have been like, let me just.
You would have been Charles Barkley. I am not a role model.
Let me get this shit together first, okay? Let me have another 10-piece chicken McNugget meal, and we'll figure this out later. But 10 years later, I've embraced the opportunity to be able to be a leader in my community, our community, and be a role model for the next generation. So that's what I learned this weekend.
Rob, you can go next. Unless you got something.
No, you're good. No, I'm well, first, yeah, actually, I got a bunch of things I want to go with, but I'll go with the one that we have video for. I'll go with it's a working title right now. We'll go with Nimrod of the Week. We're going to take the time machine going back all the way to 2019. LeBron James was a 34-year-old NBA superstar. And Colin Cowherd was a sports talk host, and Colin Cowherd had some opinions.
LeBron is 34 years old. He will never be as good as Michael Jordan was at 40. Michael Jordan, folks, it doesn't make sense. He retired twice. He got the hell beat out of him in a physical Eastern Conference. He was a cigar-smoking, steak-eating, wine-drinking, card-playing maniac who didn't sleep. He left a sport and played another and came back and was still a mile better than Magic.
Want to talk about how bad that was, gentlemen? Yeah. LeBron James at 41 years old. Let me actually pull up my hymnal here. LeBron James at 41 years old has 10 points and 9 assists for the Lakers. It's not the best day in Los Angeles. They're down 102-83. They're actually in Houston. But yeah, I'm learning more and more, and the more I do this, and honestly, the more and more we're going to be on tape. I think Eli or Double A could probably pull out a few gems for me in the not too distant future. Yeah, I've learned the good thing about this job, like being a weatherman, is one of the few jobs on earth that you don't have to be right all the time to actually do pretty well. But yeah, that was Colin Cowherd, Nimrod of the week. The other one too I'll throw in there is we found out what Shedeur Sanders would have done if his dad wasn't famous, and that would be in a veteran or in a rookie mini camp with the Baltimore Ravens after he didn't get drafted. That's where Diego Pavia has gone. Folks, you got anybody in your lives who wants to be an athlete, wants to come up through this stuff, and wants to be paid a lot of money to play a kid's game. Stress very quickly how important it is to be a team player and a good guy, because there are a lot of athletes out there. There are a lot of strong, fast, agile people who can do your job that won't be a prick to everybody. And by all accounts, you got a quarterback walking into these pre-draft meetings who's 5'8" and is projected to go in the 5th round, telling everybody that he will not settle for a backup job, and he will be the starting quarterback on any roster he's on, regardless of who's the starter. And every organization went thanks but no thanks, and we had to wait until today, the day after the draft, for a pity workout by the Baltimore Ravens to see if Pavia has anything, becoming the first Heisman Trophy finalist in 12 years to not get drafted. So yeah, you can. Even if you are a Heisman Trophy finalist, you can talk your way out of a job.
And Double A, I know you got some riveting things to say. I will add on Pavia, Rob. I was reading, I was actually watching a video from Gruden, John Gruden's QB camp, where Diego Pavia had mentioned that he was not going to settle with an agent. He doesn't think it's cool for an agent to represent him and get 5 to 10% of his money. That's his money, and nobody's taking his money. Well, no worries, Mr. Pavia. Nobody's taking your money because you ain't got no money, bud. Double A to you. What did you learn this week?
I've learned 2 things. Number one, if you're a star athlete or, somewhat of a star athlete, do not cheat on your spouse. If you're a rapper.
Or if you're an NFL reporter.
Don't do it. Number one. Number 2, if you are going to cheat, make sure you do not name your child after the person you're cheating with.
Well, one thing I'll say on that, and I'm assuming we're talking the Rozycki stuff, and I'm not going to condone anything they did or didn't do. And she has her own issues. Yeah, you named the person, your kid, after the person you're cheating with, who you were cheating with before you were married. Like, we could have some Jerry Springer shit here. If I'm the husband in that case, I want to know who's who. But all that being said, if you are on vacation and you're at a private resort and you're with your significant other and you see a famous person like that in that situation, and your first instinct is to take pictures that you will then sell for a whole lot less money than they probably should and blow up somebody's life, if that is your first instinct, you are a bag of shit.
And what was it, the bar photos? Whoever took that, because it was a private citizen who took it, they held on to that for like 6 years.
Yeah, that's wild.
And they might be running into some problems with state 1-party and 2-party photograph laws that they could get some legal action on their own right.
And I understand, taking photos, and I'm guilty of this, taking photos and not deleting anything, right? So I get it. But dude, that's wrong. The other story I was referencing, Klay Thompson, Megan Thee Stallion. We're going to have Autumn of Inside Edge Network. She's going to be on my show, Midnight Run, on Tuesday.
I think she seems to be a pretty good authority on this.
We need some expert analysis on this, because Klay Thompson is getting dragged through the mud right now. I got people on Threads saying, "Who is Klay Thompson? What has he done?" I'm like, "Oh boy."
No.
Second best shooter in NBA history.
Oh no.
I'm like, yeah.
No.
Brothers.
Hey, well, listen. Hey, I'm telling you guys, I'll give you a little game here since I'm in the music world. Listen, in the next probably month or 2, Megan Thee Stallion will have a Klay Thompson song out, and it's probably gonna hit the charts, probably top 10. I will know
they
about
have
number
any
1.
kids together?
No, they just
then
got
it's
together.
on. Oh yeah, then it's on.
Yeah.
No, but Stephon Diggs.
Oh shit.
And
is that Cardi B?
Why is Cardi B? Yeah, thank you.
How am I the one that knew that out of the 3
It
of us?
slipped by, because I was thinking was thinking of WAP. Anywho,
Oh my gosh, this is unhinged. This
No.
is unhinged.
It's 12:08.
Main event after dark. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I was just thinking. I'm like, if you are in that situation, because now you got to, now you need paternity tests. Now it's public because you're dating a rapper. They're gonna say something. It's gonna be in the song. You're gonna be in an album.
Oh,
Right?
You're
Like
done,
Taylor
man.
Swift made her whole career off of roasting her exes. Like there's
Kendrick wrote a diss track that was so good that he had a chance to call Drake a pedophile at the Super Bowl halftime show and then won a Grammy from said tune.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, they could have some problems.
So go, Eli. Go ahead, man.
Oh, double. I'm trying to think. I mean, like you would think that's like. I thought the worst thing that happened to Klay Thompson in the last few years was the decline of his career. He thought he was
Massive
going to
knee injury.
get to play with Luka. Yeah, get to play with Luka. Luka gets traded. I mean, yeah, buddy. I mean, geez. I guess playing for the Mavericks ain't too bad now, right?
Right. So that's what I learned. That's what I learned this week. Do not, if you're gonna go that route, just be careful. And I don't know. Again, if all of them are cheating, there are no winners. There are no winners. You're gonna pick your favorite anyway, right? So there's nothing, and it's terrible. Also, we had something serious real quick at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. There was an attempt, assassination.
Oh, I thought you were talking something serious. Okay, I thought you said something serious.
Yeah, no. And real quick though, I thought it was kind of fascinating because that happened at the Correspondents' Dinner. I think it was surreal to see the president in a tux and all the reporters super dressed up because that happened at the Correspondents' Dinner, and they all had a report, and they had the press briefing that night, last night. And you're looking at the reporters like in full, tux and dresses.
It was an odd coincidence that the president goes to a correspondence dinner for the first time in a few years on a night that the security was a little bit more lax than it was at previous events, and you had the entire White House press corps sitting there ready to report on anything that happened. I remember what I learned in theater school. One of the things that Shakespeare always said was, all of the world is a stage and we are merely players. And I don't want to go too far into the ether on that one. We can also talk about the quickest healing ear in human history if you want. But obviously there were people who were shaken up. There were people, the dude, and actually if you go back to it, I don't know the guy's name. They have a security footage. Everyone's running out. It's pandalirium happening. And you have a dude at a table just eating a salad, not giving like Bernie Sanders getting ready for Joe Biden to speak at the inauguration, does not give two shits about anything happening. He's having dinner.
20 seconds, because Eli's giving us the cue to wrap up. There was one other person at that Correspondents' Dinner who no-sold everything, right? Like Caitlin Collins and others, like, oh, this is what's going on. This is going on. Shane McMahon, same table as Caitlin Collins, and Shane McMahon's just standing there. Yeah, I took a Hell in a Cell spot with the Undertaker. I did this.
I saw an old wrestling photo. It was like a wrestling riot, older from like the 70s, and in the front row was classy Freddie Blassie. Remember the old pencil neck, big old head of blonde hair, and he's just sitting there smiling. He went to D-Day, so I'm sure some of those war vets have PTSD, some of those have fond memories. It's a little weird for some of those guys, but again, we don't want to make light of it too much because again, there were shots fired around the president. It's just the modern news cycle we're living in now. It's just so crazy. And I hope that, barring that last couple minutes there that we were talking about some current events here, that we're a pleasant distraction talking the NFL draft and the Cavaliers' meltdown and Klay Thompson's meltdown, and Double A probably trying to get his digits to Megan Thee Stallion as fast as humanly possible.
No, I'm good, man. She's fine, no, but I'm good.
Double A, she's like a foot taller than you, bro.
Doesn't matter, dude.
No problem.
You ain't gonna be eating mac and cheese if you're dating Megan Thee Stallion, dude. Bare minimum.
We might be having a few PTO days from Double A if he starts dating Meg Thee Stallion.
For that amount of money, I would get on a little booster seat and do whatever needed to happen. I'd sit there, like a little, at Denny's or whatever in the booster seat. Whatever we need to do.
So I'm African a Stallion walk in the bar. Okay, go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
Hey man, I'm getting booster shoes, man.
Dude, hey, you know what? They might one day have that on the Inside Edge Network website. You can go check that out. Get the shop, go to the merch, grab it. Polos, you see Chad rocking it on prime time. Get the merch, all the great stuff. Maybe one day we'll get some big moon shoes, and we'll put those on the network. But yeah, check it out, InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
Yeah, check out the website. Check out all of our social handles, too. We're pretty much every social media entity known to man, Instagram, Twitter, InstaFace, whatever Belichick's on. We're using that stuff. So, yeah, check us out there. And then, yes, I guess the closing message here from the main event is, unless you're Albert Bell and you have a really corked bat, don't cheat. This is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. For Anthony Alford, for Eli Moon, I'm Rob Rozycki. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Man, I can't wait to do this again with y'all next week. I can't wait. This was a lot of fun. I had a great time, fellas.
Hey, pleasure was all. Yes, pleasure was. Hopefully everybody had as good of a time listening to it as we did doing it. So, yes, for the Stooges 3 here on the Inside Edge Network, Anthony, Eli, and myself, Rob Rozycki. We will see you next week.